the more you own, the more the system owns you. You know, we've all heard the saying, the things you own end up owning you. Buying a car, typically we're not going to pay cash for it to finance it. That puts us in the system. They got us right there because now you owe them money. Car insurance. You have to have car insurance. It's mandated by law. So that's another $100-some every month you have to pay out. You got to park it in the right spot or they'll put a ticket on it. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have a driver's license to drive that car in the system. You know what I mean? You have to register that car, so you have to let them know where you are. You know, owning a home, kind of the same thing. So many different things come with owning a home. So many different ways you're in the system. So many different people now can dictate to you what you can and can't do. But it's my house. I've paid it off. I own it. No, you still got to pay these properties. You got to do what we say or we can come take that home. Your phone. Now that you got a phone, they can track you. They know where you're at all times now because you have a cell phone, right? It's just like everything comes with something extra. And they're just heaping more and more on. I was talking to a friend of mine about like all these subscription services now. And now I feel like he said there's like, you don't even get heated seats in your car in some of the newer cars unless you pay a subscription service for it, right? Like what? I buy the car and I can't even have access to all the features unless I pay y'all money. Come on. You know, it's just, I think it's getting way out of control. It's always been like the more you have, the more the system owns you because the more things you have to do to keep. And the big thing is the more you have, the more you have to work. Then they come up with this amazing thing called credit card. The more credit cards you got, the more the system has got you because if you got a lot of credit cards, you're probably using all of them. We have to realize what's happening. And now, if you realize what's happening and you realize, oh yeah, the system loves loaning money. The system loves giving out credit because the more you owe it, the more it's got. The more you're spending credit, the more you're going into debt to buy stuff, the more it's got you. Because now you have to put up with all the crap in the BS at work because you can't quit because you owe the system too much money. When the system owns you, there's a lot of worry, there's a lot of anxiety because you got to follow the rules. You got to follow the rules now. And the rules ain't fun. The rules don't always work out. It's hard life. But if we start, and it may seem small, you know, you start small, work your way up big. So it may seem like getting rid of the clutter and the crap you have and the excess possessions you have is not going to do anything to help out the mountain of debt you have or what. But it's the small, you know, it's like learning, you know what I mean? Like learning 1 + 1 doesn't seem like it makes a dent in like what you need to know to learn calculus. You know what I mean? 1 + 1 seems down here. The higher maths are way up here. But like you gotta build a base. You gotta build a foundation. You gotta learn that stuff if you're ever gonna get to that, right? I started to get way more intentional about my purchase. When the system owns us, we have no free. You know, I've been saying for years, part of the reason they got rid of the old slavery is because this new slavery is way better. You know, the old slavery, you had to like house people and feed them. And like you had to have people watch them so they wouldn't run away. You spent a lot of money on whips and chains every month. The old slavery was just, you know, this new slavery, you don't have to do none of that. In fact, you make them pay for everything. You know what I mean? You still got people enslaved. You still got people working for you for peanuts. You still got people not in control of their life because they got to show up and do what you tell them to do every day. But they have to pay for their living quarters. They have to pay for their food. They can't run off still. You know, now they can't run off. You know what I mean? You own them. You know what I mean? Crazy. And I laugh, but it's actually very, and I think once you start to see it that, you know, they do a good job of making it seem like, somebody commented this the other day, and I respect their opinion, but they were like, oh, in a country like America where we have capitalism, the free market, if you're not successful, it's your fault. They do a good job of spinning that narrative. That way, you look at your life and when it's not going the way you want it to go, you think it's your fault. But no, the system is set up for your life to end up that way, right? The system is set up for you not to enjoy it. The system is set up for you to be thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in debt and never come out of it. To die with the debt, then they just go after your next family member. That's the way the system is set up. The system is set up for you to have to work until you are 65, 67, probably 69, coming up soon, minimum. And then maybe you get to have a little fun once you've given all your best year. That's the way the system is set up. It is not set up for you to make it. It is not set up for you to be successful. It is not set up to help you. I understand we all have to have a place to stay. We got to, you know, do the things we got to do, maybe on a car, you know, work, all these things. I understand. But we can be actively working toward paying those things, not spending all our money on those things. You know, getting a car that does what it needs to do, not spending $30,000 extra on a car because it has a certain logo on it. You know what I mean? Like just living with the intention of, I want to have as much control over my life as possible so I can do the things I love with people I love. I was put here by whatever put me here so that I can enjoy this life. My goal is to do that as much as possible with as much freedom as I have now, with the mind to getting even more freedom in the future if I don't have as much freedom. And when we make purchases that way, when we make life decisions that way, thinking along those lines, we're not slaves to the system. We're just using the system to break free from the system. I would love to hear your thoughts on this in the comment section. Something I'm very passionate about. I've been thinking about a lot lately. Please, if you're so inclined, weigh in, chime in. What do you think about this? What are some changes you're making? I love y'all. Talk to y'all later.